Okay, Arambham Karishyamah. Let me start recording it and then share my screen. Om Yontah Pravishya Mama Vachamimaam Prasuptam Sanjeevayatyakhilashaktidaraswadhamna Anyamsha Hasta Charanashravanatvagadin Pranam Namo Bhagavate Purushaya Tubhyam वागर्थाविव सम्पृक्तौ वागर्थः प्रतिपत्तये जगतः पितरौ वन्दे पार्वती परमेश्वरौ वासुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम् ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं हरिः ओम्. So last week we saw two shlokas, in the last class rather. Last week we didn't meet. So we saw shlokas 11 and 12, which were essentially about, Dinya Minyo. That was the one which we saw. Makuru Dhanajana Yavvana Garvam. Makuru Dhanajana Yavvana Garvam. Harati Nimesha Kala Sarvam. Maya Mayamidam Akhilam Hitva. Brahmapadam from Pravisha Veditva. So Acharya has here clearly guided us to say, don't bring ego into the picture. So far, if you observe, we saw the Shat Sampat. We started with, Shama, Dama, Uparati, Titiksha, Shraddha. We stopped at Shraddha. And we said there is a concept called Samadhana, right? We just introduced ourselves to that concept of Samadhana. And so the first five were easy to understand. Shama, Damat, Uparati, Titiksha, at least at some level, it is more of a practice that will just bring us there. It is more related to the karma and how we start doing our activities around these things, right? Whereas we also saw that Samadhana requires a lot more things than just our physical activity, physical or even mental activity, right? Because it requires us to sort of get into a state where thoughts are all very evened out. Or even if there are thoughts, we are not indulging ourselves in that thought. Correct? So, one of the ways that you can do it, there are two ways that are explicitly mentioned for it. One is the Gnana Marga, the other one is the Bhakti Marga. Of course, as Acharya himself has mentioned, that Bhakti and Gnana are essentially the same. They are not very different. So the easiest way to go about doing it is the concept called Sharanagati. Right. So that Sharanagati is what Acharya is telling here. What does Sharanagati require? What is the true nature of a bhakta? How do you become, we all call ourselves bhaktas, we all call ourselves, oh, I have bhakti, I love this, I love that. How do you get there? What is it that takes us to that point? This is the question that comes to us, right? So here, surrender. Mayam, ayam, idam, akhilam hitva. Give up everything. Just say, everything is there. I am is that, or he, she, I am. Say, let go. Let it go. just take Brahmapadam. Take the lotus feet of the Lord, as they say. Just take it and just say, okay, I surrender, I give in to whatever is happening, I give in. That is what is the attitude with which we should accept. Pravisha Veditva. If that, then it will take you a long way. That is what Acharya Shankara has said here. Okay. We did this shloka. It is not very difficult. Then we also said that, Dana Bandhu and all that. Then it said, Dina Yaminyau Sayam Prataha Shishira Vasanto Punarayataha. Now, how does this happen? This surrender is a very tricky concept. No, we love the concept we discussed this concept called procrastination. There was a question around procrastination and what is procrastination as well. We love that concept of how do I, can I just do it 2 minutes later? Can I wake up 2 minutes later? Can I just do this 2 minutes later? Can I just sit back and do things? Right? If you get into that mode, as they say, time and tide wait for none. Right? That's a concept. So that's exactly what Acharya is saying here. Dina Yamini, Dina is day and night, Sayam Pratha. They come and they go. If you are not making the right use of it, Shishira Vasanto, the days change into the days change into a Paksha changes into a month changes into a Ritu changes into a Ayana changes into a Varsha, and then it is all Kala Kridati Gacchati Ayuhu. It just plays away as though there is nothing happening. But then, can I postpone this? Can I take this later? Can I do this? Can I switch on myself at the age of 60? Can I switch off myself right now? Can I start doing everything? This bhakti and all is good. Maybe I should start when I'm 60. At 60, it's like, okay, I've not done so many things when I was so well. So maybe I should start at 61. Maybe 1 year I'll enjoy my retirement. This can keep on going. And well, there comes a point when you say, probably I should have done something very different at a different point in time. So that's exactly what Acharya is saying here. So this is where we said this was the shloka we stopped at. And then we saw some key things. Okay, what we'll do, we'll just see 2 more shlokas related here and then move to our discussion that we are going to have. Okay. Kate Kanta Dinagata Chinta Vatula Kintava Nasti Niyanta Trijagati Sajjana Sangati Reika Bhavati Bhavarnava Tarane Nauka. So earlier, if you remember, we had seen Tatsangatve Nissangatve Nirmohatve Nischalatatve Jivan Mukti. If you remember that shloka, it was very beautifully said. That Satsanga. So here, Acharya is saying, who is your Kanta? Who is your spouse? Who is your spouse? Why are you thinking about money, Dhanaga, whether there is money is coming, money is going, how much am I? Why are you so transactionally so involved? This quote unquote passionately involved in transactional world. It is not wrong to get involved. It's necessary. You can't live without involving yourself. But why are you attaching yourself? Why are you jumping up and down for everything that is happening? Vatula is a Muda. He's been addressing him as a fool since the beginning. Okay. Kintava nasti. Don't you have any control over your mind? So as we saw, your happiness or your sadness is not necessarily in the external object. It is not in your spouse. It is not in the money. It is not in the sweet you eat or whatever you like. Your likes and dislikes are necessarily inside. There's a love and affection which you have, which manifests as sort of moha. Now, suppose it manifests as pure preeti, pure affection, nothing else. Then your attitude and the way you would approach that whole thing would be very different. Okay. Now that is the concept of Sajjana Sangha, Satsanga. If you look at this, Sajjana Sangati Eka Bhavati. You have to find that set of people or that surrounding. If you can create that surrounding, a lot of things, since we take everything that comes is from the external world. Can we create that surrounding for ourselves, which is full of that which is taking me to that sacred state of saying Sharanagata. So that is the question that Acharya is asking here. That is what will take you through this Bhava Samsara. Bhava means Samsara. Bhava Arnava Tarane Nauka. Taking you through. Bhava is Samsara. So what takes you through that Samsara is that set of people. We say that, no? It's the company that makes your journey beautiful. It's not the destination. If you don't have a good company, Parvati Modaya just said she went out and came back. Suppose your company was something full of, blabbering and cribbing about each other and doing things, would you enjoy it? Or rather, if this is not there, that is not there. I mean, in a journey, you do feel the need for something more. Someday there'll be no food. Someday you'll have to skip a lunch. Someday you'll have to skip a breakfast. Someday you have to, vehicle is not working. All sorts of things can happen. But it's the company that keeps you going, right? It's like, okay, I like this. I'm okay with this. I'm happy with this. So that is the concept is applying to the concept of life. Can I get a company? Can we create that set of surroundings and that company which will make this difficulties and happiness equanimous, bring us to that equanimous state so that we accept whatever comes. So that is the question that Acharya is asking here. Very straightforward, not very difficult. Tate Kanta, Dhanagata Chinta Vatula, He Vatula, He Murkha, Kintava Nasti Niyanta. Don't you have control over all this? Don't you have control over, whether there is over the thoughts on your expenditure, income and expenditure, as we say. I know a lot of people where their expenditure is over by the 5th of the month or the 25th of the month, and then they're thinking. So, I mean, that's not the state, and thankfully none of us are in that state, so we are happy about it. Don't you have a control over things? Will blow hot and cold. Someday your spouse is going to be upset with you, right? It's not like you're going to be very happy. It's not a very happy state on everyday life. Then you'll get bored. So that will keep happening. So create that set of satsanga which will take you through this bhavasagara, which will become the nauka, which will become the boat to carry you through that. Let them become that boat. So that is the idea here. Hey Vatula, Kate Kanta, Kimartam Dhanagata Chinta. Why are you getting so agitated with things? Tavaniyanta Nasti Kim. Don't you have a control over your? It is not control over whether you are able to, whether how much money is coming and whether what your spouse is saying. It is about, don't you have a control over the thoughts and your way it is progressing. Okay. Sajjana Sangatihi Eka Bhavarnava Tarane Nauka Bhavati. That is the only thing that will take you through. So have a set of that people. Now, the question, somebody asked me this beautiful question. Does Sajjana translate to friends? Now, it's a very deep concept actually. If you look at it, a lot of people think friends, I have a set of friends, so my friends will take me through everything. Right? Now, there are a lot of things where we need to sit back and sort of think, who is a Sajjana? All of us have this concept of this society has this concept of a guru. Now, okay, let's have a small discussion around guru. Who do you think is a guru? Who is a guru? What is your understanding of a guru? Anybody? Shalini Mahodaya वदतु.
A guru is a guide.
ओके. ध्वनिमुद्रिका मुखमस्ति भवत्याः. You have again gone on mute. Shalini
That's
Mahodaya.
all. I mean, that's all. He gives a list of guidelines, and he basically tells you the direction that you can move towards in order to attain liberation.
Okay.
So that's what I think.
That's
Thank
what.
you.
Okay, good. अश्विनी महोदय वक्तुमिच्छति वा? अद्य अश्विनी महोदय आगतवती. पुनः सुस्वागतम्.
धन्यवादः. I think Guru is a guide only.
Okay. Guide. Okay. Any other definitions?
Can I add one thing? Yeah, he handholds you. He handholds you, but he does not guarantee, because we are speaking in the context of difficult times. There is no guarantee that sometimes, the guru can let you suffer also, and sometimes that suffering can be good for you. So the guru is no guarantee that okay, that's like someone who will carry us through everything without a scratch. So that's not the thing. That's not entirely true. But yes, he does guide you, and it's like a very very dim light, which will always show you the way, provided you are ready to look at that light, to keep
Okay.
that light alive within you.
I understand. Got it. Okay. Srividya Mahodaya भवति.
Yeah, also the same concept as the word goes. Uh, Guru is one who removes the darkness from your life, which we are in darkness always, and he is the one who shows us the light.
Right. Okay. Jai Balambika Mahodaya.
Guru is like a friend, philosopher, guide, and mentor, all put together.
All put together. Good. Okay. So, right. So, let's start with the definition of Guru that Srividya Mahodaya started with. She said, there are two syllables there. Gu, Ru. Gu, Andhakara Nirodha, Prakashavat Prajalati. That is the definition of Guru that we have in that is how the word Guru comes in. Okay. Now we have heard friend, philosopher, guide, mentor. All these are synonyms that we are attaching to it. Right. Okay. Then we say Pita Pratamo Guru. Mata Pratamo Guru. Pita Guru. Right. So we have this order. Mata Pita Guru. Mata Matradevo Bhava, Pitradevo Bhava, Acharya Devo Bhava. If you go to Taittiriya Upanishad, very clearly the order is very important here. We start with Mata, Matradevo Bhava, Pitradevo Bhava, Acharya Devo Bhava. And it's not without meaning. I'll give you a story, in fact. If you go to Ramayana, in the Kashchit Sarga, after the Kashchit Sarga, Bharata is trying to convince in Balakanda, is to convince Rama to come back to Ayodhya, not to go to the Vanvasa because father said. So there are many arguments that Bharata keeps on giving, multiple arguments, one after the other. It's like full of, it's a very wonderful set of arguments. He first says, it's all useless, bunkam. Father took a decision, it's all right, now come back, there is no need. He says, no, that is not possible. Then he says, Father gave me the kingdom. You're right, I have accepted. Now, I will give it back to you. That is something I can do. It is in my hands, I can give it. He says, no, that does not do. You're not in father's position to give it back. So even if you have to give it back, I have to do whatever he said. Okay. Finally, he brings Vasishta Maharshi. He says, please argue it out. So Vasishta Maharshi then says, I am the Kula Guru. I'm not just the Guru. I'm the Kulu Guru. Ikshvaku Kulasya Guru. From the time Ikshvaku has been there, I have been the guru till you. So there is, and in all through the lineage, the eldest son has always become the king. It's never been the younger son has ever taken over, and it's been very stringently followed. So I order you, as a guru, I order you to come. Rama just dismisses it, saying, Pita Pradamo Guru. Pita comes before Acharya. Okay. Then what is then, if Pita is at that stage, so that's why when we do the Brahmopadesha, that is done only by the father. The Brahmopadesha is done only by the father. It is not done by anybody else. Then the question comes, why is there a need for an Acharya? Why is there a need for somebody other than Pita to actually take that position? Of course, there have been where Pita and the Guru have been the same. But in most cases, we have the Guru who is different from the Pita. Right? In all cases. In fact, all of us have that in life. Why is that a need? Why is there a need for that? The thing is that Pita, father, can get into a state of a moha. Vatsalya. Vatsalya is always there. For instance, even in the same Ramayana, when Vishwamitra comes and we know that the Guru was Vasishta. But Rama's real journey, real Guru was actually Vishwamitra. So when Vishwamitra came and asked Dasharatha, please send your children. He was some 14, 15 years at that point. Then I have to take them for this whole big karya. He said, Dasharatha said, no, I can't. He's the only son. I've had so much difficulty getting him. So then Vasishta tells him, no, you don't know who Vishwamitra is. It is not that Vishwamitra can't solve his menial problem of Tadakasura. It is for Rama's good that you need to send him. So that is the real transformation that you see there in that whole episode. The way he takes care. How many of you heard of this Kaushalya, Supraja, Rama, Purva, Sandhya? Everybody has heard that? Kaushalya, Supraja, Rama, Purva, Sandhya.
I haven't, sorry.
Yeah, everyone has heard that? Where do you think that comes?
I haven't. I don't know what it means.
Yeah, it was Vishwamitra's words.
Venkateshwara Suprabhatam. Yeah.
So there is
it was Vishwamitra's stotram that was taken out of the.
Yes. So there is Uttishta Narshardula Daivanikam. Kartavyam Daivamanikam. So it starts with, okay, so Shalini Mohdya, for those of you who don't know, this is what is called the Suprabhata, Venkateshwara Suprabhata. Starts with Kaushalya, Supraja, Rama, Purva, Sandhya. Excuse me, I'm having a little cold. Okay. Uttishta Narshardula Kartavyam Daivamanikam. It says, it starts with, so the story is that Rama and Lakshmana are sleeping in the night. And Vishwamitra is performing the yajna. So he has to wake them up he treats them like his own children. Vishwamitra has so much of vatsalya towards them. Never scolding, never doing anything. He is very, very careful. Of course, he makes them sleep on grass. Rajkumara of Ayodhya sleeping on a grass mat in the forest and all, he makes them do that. But he does that very, very humanely. He gives them a lot of humane touch and says, this is how you should be, this is what you should do, etc., etc., etc. And when he needs to wake them up, he chants this first mantra of the Venkateshwara Suprabhata. The Venkateshwara Suprabhata itself was composed by somebody else. That was not by Vishwamitra, but the first shloka is started by that. Okay, somebody can post it in the group. Whoever has not heard it, there are enough links in YouTube for it. So, Kaushalya, Supraja, Rama, Purva, Sandhya, Tate, Uttishta, Narshardula, Kartavyam, Daivam, Anikam. That is the first, this one. Uttishta, Garudo, Dvaja, Uttishta, Kanta, Uttishta, Kamala, Kanta, Trailokyam, Mangalam, Kuru. That's how it goes. Okay. So that Suprabhata, Venkateshwara Suprabhata comes from that. So the thing is that he gives them a lot of hardship, but takes them through to make sure his life journey becomes straightforward. I wouldn't say straightforward. He prepares them for his life's journey. Whatever weapons he uses in Lanka after, so many years was all earned by Rama during that phase when he spent with Vishwamitra. So somebody who's a drashta, who understands the purpose of the person present there and what he needs to accomplish is what is Guru. Guru, of course, has a gradation, and bring that gradation sometime next week, perhaps. So you start with the Guru, and that Guru, from there, it comes out to be the Sajjana group. That's where we create that Satsanga group. Okay. So, of course, and how do you find a Guru? Anybody on the idea of how do you find a Guru? We know so much about Guru, no? What is the Shastras saying on how do you find a Guru? We know Guru Devo, Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo, Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat, Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri, Gurave Namaha. We know those things. But how do you find the Guru? Who is the Guru?
When it's ready, Guru comes to him.
Yes. So the Shastra are clear about that also. It is very simply says, you get prepared. Your job is to prepare yourself. The Guru will appear as and when that you are prepared. I think I narrated that story of Swami Vivekananda of his Colombo to Almora lectures. One random boy, 10, 12-year-old boy, he just heard one Vakya of Vivekananda, Swami Vivekananda. He said, the time is there is so much, the matter at hand is very large. The time in hand is very less. That was his Upadesha. What transformed him, nobody knows. But he became a great sannyasi. He achieved whatever he had to achieve in life. So how that happens, who is that Guru? Keep on the lookout for that Guru. Similarly, it is the concept of Sajjana. Once you get that, the Sajjana naturally comes in. Okay. So this is something that comes in our philosophy, very strongly comes in our philosophy. Always there in our this one. So that's exactly what Acharya Shankara is also saying. Sajjana is, of course, the group of people who will take you through, but that is realized through the Guru. Okay. Yes, Parvati Modi.
So you say the Guru will find you, but shouldn't you be, the Guru will find you, but you should be in somewhere where a Guru is present, right? If you're if the environment you're living in is not so spiritual, I don't know what word to use. There are no sajjanas around, so
that is true. See, that is not true. I'll give why are we all sitting here? We are 13 of us sitting here and discussing something.
Yeah.
Right? Why are we spending time here? We can all be doing many other activities, no? There are 100 things. I have 3 more calls after this to take right into the night. Okay. All of you have children, grandchildren, friend, etc., etc., etc. That is the Sajjana group. That is a Satsanga group that we create. Coming to the specific point of a Guru. Okay. Now, as they say, be ready for it when they come. There's another beautiful story. So the Kanchi Paramacharya, somebody kept on going to him and saying, you have to come to my house, you have to come to my house, you have to come to my house. So it was so one day he said, okay, tomorrow I'll come to your house. Yeah. Then this fellow went, prepared everything, created a beautiful, you put that banana plant sapling in the front of the door, you create a full-fledged environment to welcome the Guru. Oh, today Paramacharya is coming, nothing more, and he is waiting. And the whole family, he has a whole set of these drums and everything to prepare and long thing. Suddenly what happens? A cow comes by. A cow or a bull comes by, starts eating the banana plant. This one. He gets very annoyed. takes a stick, starts hitting it and throws him out. Throws that pull out. And then he waits and waits and waits the whole day. Nobody comes, nothing happens. So he's all the more agitated and irritated because nobody came. Paramacharya said he will come, and that's the word. He's not someone who says I will not come. So then next day he goes to the Paramacharya and says, what is this? You never came home. How can you betray me like this in front of everyone? He got very irritated. So he said, look, I came yesterday, but then you beat me with the stick and threw me out. So the moral of the story is that, you need to be on the lookout of things. How do you do that? And be on the lookout and be cognizant of what is happening. What you accept, from where, how you get it, what happens. It's just that you're not ready. That's about it. You're not seeing. Once you're there, you'll start seeing things.
Yeah. Even like Parikshit, Shuka reached him when Parikshit...
Shuka reached him, correct. At that point, when he was giving up his life, he knew only there were 7 days left for him. It was a mistake that had happened. And then, so Shuka Maharshi reached him. How do you take care of it? So his only thing was, how do I get moksha? He started doing dhyana. And Shuka Maharshi reached him, said, read Bhagavata Purana in 7 days and then you'll get it. So that's how it happens. So some people have a longer journey, some people have a shorter journey. Or rather, some people have already covered that journey, and some people are covering that journey. So we're all in the same state. Okay. So that is what is being conveyed here. Nauka, Dara Dhanadi Chintam Parityajya Swahitaha Upadeshtaram Niyamakam Acharya Sharanam Braja. Okay. Now here Acharya Sharanam, again, that's why the word Acharya Sharanam is very important. It could be just a stone idol that you can take as guru. You can take a book as a guru. I mean, it depends on what comes to you at what point, and that takes you to that different plane. Okay. The concept of a guru, as is explained, is very simple. As I said, the moha bhava is not there with the guru, and is very, very, he just thinks about the best for his own student. That's about it. Nothing else is there. So when you see, for instance, there is this concept called catalyst. Those of you who have had this chemistry, this one, it will enable the reaction, but it in itself is not part of the reaction. It enables the reaction. There are transformations which go on through it as well. Nagaprabha Mahodaya.
Mahodaya, sometimes difficult situations and the people around you maybe negative, reacting negative with you also act like guru. They teach us something. Even
that can be everything. Yeah. So it depends on what you take as a guru. How do you accept that? Is that a guru? Is that not a guru? It's all individual. Nothing is concrete, written in stone that, okay, that person only can be a guru. Right? So you're right.
Yeah.
Situations can be a guru. The people can be a guru. So there are many, many forms that Krishna became a guru for Arjuna in that moment. Right? He is the Jagat Guru. Yes, Parvati Mahodaya.
A very silly question, but I have to ask. So once you have a guru, you attain kind of enlightenment. Will it be permanent or you'll revert back to your base self?
This is very well answered by Ramana Maharshi. There was somebody who kept coming to him and asking, or not Ramana Maharshi, I think it was Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. So somebody kept on coming to him and asking, he would ask, is your mind, have you controlled your mind? See, it's all about mind control, no? Is the mind under your control? That is the question, right? If you are in Samadhana, if you are in the state, Is your mind under your control? That is the question. So somebody kept on asking him. First day he came, he said, come tomorrow. Second day he came, he said, come tomorrow. Next day he came, he said, come tomorrow. It went on for a long time. Then this fellow got very irritated. He said he stopped. He stopped going. So finally one day Ramakrishna Paramahamsa called one fellow and said, call the fellow who used to ask me that question, come here. Call him. So he called him. So you remember you used to ask that question, have you controlled your mind? He said, no, ask that question. He said, have you controlled your mind? He said, yes, and he died. Okay. So I hope that answers your question. So he just said, at that moment, he said, have you controlled your mind? He said, yes, and he just died. He just left his body. So that fickleness of the mind is going to exist within us till the day we exist in this body. As simple as that. Now it is, as we have been always discussing, Guru is a person who can take you through certain things, who can lead the way, but it is for you to follow or not follow. Right? It is still within you. The mind is still within you. It is within us. To take and do action has to be taken by us only. Will they revert back? Will they not revert back? It's all a question that, how you are very much in that state. Okay. How well established are you in that state? That's the point that we need to get. All right.
No, because in reality also sometimes you say, okay, I'm very short-tempered. I should not be like that. And you try. So it lasts for a few days, weeks, and then you revert back to your terrible self again.
So that means the Shadvikaras are still there. That's what it means, no?
Yeah.
I think I showed that earlier when Krishna says, absolutely, the mind is a monkey. Be happy with it. There is no way, asamshayam mahabaho. There is no way you'll get your mind clear. Arjuna said, look, whatever you are saying is all theory. It's all bunkam. Don't fool around that this is what will happen. Krishna said, you're absolutely right. You're the perfect psychologist. First thing, agree with your patient. Never question your patient. I completely agree. Asamshayam mahabhavo. It is not possible. It is like Arjuna said, it is like the wind. Can you hold wind? Then he said, Shanai Ruparame Managrihitva, this etc. He said. What is he saying? You can direct the wind by putting a sail. Correct? Similarly, have some mind guides. Chitra Mohdaya vadatu.
Abhyasena vairagyena.
Abhyasena kaunteya vairagyam balavadritaha. Correct? By practice. With practice, this can happen. Disciplined practice. Very clear. That's the one. Okay. Agre Gamishyamahava. We'll see one more shloka. So all this is leading to that concept called Samadhana, which is the final concept, right? So all these are pointers towards that Samadhana. How do you get that Samadhana? You may have practiced Shama, Dama, Titiksha, Uparati. By that time you would have got a lot of Shraddha. But how do you move towards, what is that additional nudge that you need to get to move towards that Samadhana? That is the whole journey of Bhaja Govindam. The journey of Bhaja Govindam is all about transforming from that up to the point of Shraddha to that point of Samadhana. That's why he says, he was doing the right thing. By the way, it is not wrong to, read Ashtadhyayi at the age of 90 and wanting to know. Ashtadhyayi is not a bad thing. It is not something that by any means it will not be considered adharma or be considered as a wrongdoing. So what is that additional nudge that you need to transform from this state of work to that state of an equanimity and samadhana state? That is what is this journey of Bhaja Govindam. So nowhere Acharya is saying, don't be with your spouse or don't earn money. Don't get overly attached to it. Don't get don't be perturbed by whatever is happening in that world. That is the message. And how do you do that? By being in a satsanga. By being in a state of with the Guru, by being in satsanga, you can get to that state where you are not getting perturbed by the externalities that are happening in life. That is a given. That will happen. There is no way it will not happen. And as Shalini Mahodaya said, it need not be that a Guru will always give you only good things. There can be pain as well. How do you get to that state where you are not perturbed by it? The disturbances are not impacting you. That is the question. Okay. So let's move on. Now, Acharya beautifully brings out one more thing in the next shloka. Let us see that. Okay. Jatilo munde lunchita keshah kashayambara bahukruta veshah pashyanna pichana pashyati moodah udara nimittam bahukruta veshah. Anybody who understood this? No? Okay, let me explain it. Jatilaha mundi lunchita keshah kashaya ambara bahukruta veshah pashyannapi chana pashyati moodah udara nimittam bahukruta veshah. Okay. What is jatilaha?
Complex, difficult.
Quick.
Complex or
Jatiti
difficult?
or even Jatiti is quick.
No. Oh yeah, okay. Shalini Mahodaya?
Complex or difficult?
Complex or difficult? No. That is similar to what Sushila Mahodaya said. Jatiti. That is ja. That is the Mahaprana, not the Alpaprana.
Oh, okay.
Okay. You know, this there are so many so-called this should give us the good
Something
idea.
to do with hair.
Saffron-clad people.
Yeah.
Okay. There are so many kashayambara bahukruta vesha. Those who put on saffron and go about and leave long hair and then long beard and consider, yes, now I am a sannyasi. Declare themselves. But then see, he is telling this in something like the 7th century, at least 1,300 years back.
So it was prevalent even then.
This was prevalent probably even much before that. Ever since this one. So he's telling you that there can be fake and there can be real. The real need not be in this state, but they are mostly in this state. Not that they are not in this state. But just the imitation, what we say as imitation jewelry. The imitation jewelry, always exceeds the real jewelry. Right? So for every good quality of say a necklace or a beautiful gold necklace with pure diamond studded gold necklace, you'll find at least 100 duplicate varieties of it. Correct? For a beautiful Mysore silk saree, there are imitations of at least 100 variety which I have seen. So similarly, for the very genuine, the Jatila Mundi are all people who are in deep tapas. They're not people who have given up life and who wear the beard. Jatila Lunchita Kesha is where long hair is there. Mundi is bearded. Jatilaha. Then saffron robed people sitting somewhere. Okay. Kashayambara, I wouldn't say saffron is a very wrong term. Those with that, put on that dress and then sit. Now, there is a state where your hair will naturally grow out because of the tapas that you're doing. And you're not bothered to cut it. That is one way of doing it. Similarly, your beard can grow naturally because you're not bothered to cut it. And you're in a deep state of penance. That is one state. The other state is you're indulging yourself in all sorts of monkey tricks and doing all the monkey activities But then to the world, you want to showcase that you are doing something and let the hair grow. You're consciously there's a way of unconsciously the hair growing and consciously making an effort to grow that hair.
Yeah, a lot of them groom themselves well. Nice hair, nice
physically groom themselves in that state. Okay, but not the real state. That is not the real state. So there are many of people who are in that state. That is what Acharya is saying. So look around. You are bound to find a lot of them. Okay, it is not. I'm not saying there are not genuine people who are doing this. The genuine ones are those where it's naturally come, where the state is very natural. Okay, this state of people who have for the sake of their own this one who have grown it are udara nimittam. What is udara nimittam?
Like red.
blood.
Huh?
For the sake of their belly.
To survive. To survive.
Survival. Udara means stomach.
Oh, stomach.
It is all limited to the stomach. So this is another means of earning their livelihood. That's about it. So it is not, as we said, it is not a state where sannyasa has taken over. These people have run behind sannyasa and trying to, earn their livelihood through that sannyasa. Now, sannyasa is not a state where you go about earning a livelihood. Livelihood comes to you out of it. If sannyasa takes over, naturally, livelihood will also follow it in some ways. Swami, we should read the case of Swami Vivekananda. I don't know how many of us know the story of Swami Vivekananda before he left for Chicago. Anybody who knows that story? So, Chicago is invited. He's invited there to go there. So, the Mysore Maharaja gives him some money to go there. But then when he goes there, he figures out that, the conference is postponed by 6 weeks. And he has to stay there on the limited money which he has carried from here. There is no way that, it is not like, I send over from there and then I come and take it. So deep state, that is a very difficult state. And if you know Chicago, the months of, that was in December. So if the months of October, November are not easy. Even though you call it autumn, it is not like it is very warm and he's sleeping on the parks, he's sleeping on the benches, his deep rainfall, everything is happening. Okay. And he's wearing that robe. He's wearing a saffron robe and sitting, and it's dirty because he has not changed much or he has not had so much time or so much money to do it. One day a lady comes to him and asks, who are you who's wearing this? You call yourself a monk. Who is this wearing some dirty clothes and what sort of a character are you? His sharpness of his mind at that point in time, the way he had developed himself, he said, I did not know, madam, that in this country, a character of a person is determined by the clothes the person is wearing. You need a lot of tapas to have gone in to come up with an answer like that in a state where you are in deep trouble. 6 weeks. 6 weeks were very, very horrible for him. Only after he gave the speech, yes, everything became different and he was respected and everything happened. But those 6 weeks are a very, very excruciating times that he has gone through. So people like that. Now, people like him is one set where he has done so much of tapas and who's done so much. He would go to everyone. He would just jump in and go. He went to Rabindranath Tagore's father. I don't know if you know this story. Rabindranath Tagore's father was also a great sannyasi. He was a great tapasvi himself. He was living in the middle of the Sundarbans where tigers were prowling and he had a boat and he was staying there. So he heard, Vivekananda in that time heard that, he can go and ask him. So he jumps into the mangroves, just swims over, goes to the boat and asks, have you seen God? That is the question he asks. He says no. He jumps back and goes. So he keeps on asking this to so many people Only when he meets Ramakrishna Paramahamsa that he says, he asked him, have you seen God? He says, I am seeing her the way I am seeing you. That is when he says, yes, you are my guru. So that is the kind of tapas he's gone through to become Swami Vivekananda. And if he was wearing a saffron robe, imitating his saffron robe is not going to help anybody around. Right? So that is what Acharya Shankara is telling here. Right? So Udara Nimittam Bahukrita Vesha. If you make sannyasa as something to earn your livelihood, sorry, that is not working out. Please stay away from such people. This is something, this is at least 1500 years back. So always be careful about some things that is going on. So this is a very clear, this one that he brings up. So Jatilahava, Mundiva, Lunchita Keshahava, Kashayambara, Kashayam Baradarak, Bhokruta Veshaha. So that is Pitambaradari. By wearing a Pitambara, you don't become Krishna. Or by holding a flute, you don't become one, this one. You need to do that tapas. You need to attain that state by doing a lot of sadhana. Okay. So, Bhavakruta Vesha. This is what it is. That Yesha. Nana Vesha Yukta Sannyasa Veshadhari Mudaha. Yathartham na pashyati kim udara purnartham eva bahuda Vesha dharayanti. So they're all there. Keep them there. Accept them. Okay. So these are the two shlokas that I wanted to bring. So I want to continue on the last week's discussion. So if you see all this, it is all pushing us to take the next step to go from a samsara, that the transactional world that we are in, to a different state. Now that different state, as we defined last week, we saw this last week, right? Dvivido hi vedokta dharmaha, pravritti lakshanaha, nivritti lakshanaha cha. Jagataha sthiti karanam. The world is as it is because of two things that people are going after. One is pravritti lakshana and nivritti lakshana. One is pravritti lakshana is earning your money, engaging in the transactional world, becoming rich, doing all the material well-being, etc., etc. Then there is nivritti lakshana, giving up all that and becoming a sort of sannyasi and moving towards what is called moksha or samadhana. Correct? Now, as we discussed last week, this appears to be paradoxical. Anybody who says it is not paradoxical? At one end, it is saying, go attain all the material wealth. At the other end, it is saying you don't need any material wealth. Right? Does it appear paradoxical?
Yes, because if you're pursuing your material goals, then you are getting more and more enmeshed in materialism.
Correct. So, if you look at our repository of knowledge, Vedas, and then comes the Vedanta, right? Vedas, 85% of this entire corpus is all about material wealth. 15% is about that nivritti. So, how is this paradox resolved, in which case? Kim Karishyamaha, how do we resolve this paradox of this being of pravritti? At one end, you are saying you need a material wealth, and it's all saying earn a lot of material wealth. I gave the example of Chamaka Prashna last week. 333 things that we need to have. It is not even want. It is not saying I need, it will be good if you can give me, no such thing. I need it, give it. Give it to that extent. In fact, to the extent that Yagyavalkya's this one, where we had a great Janaka had arranged for a great debate where he said, somebody who can answer the Bhagavan Paramatman, and then he said, Yagyavalkya, a lot of Vidvams are sitting there, and he says the prize given is 1,000 buffaloes whose horns and the back is fully laden with gold. Okay, as much as that buffalo can carry. So Yagyavalkya comes, then says, okay, take all this. He tells his students, take all this and go. So that is where that is what Yagyavalkya does. So when somebody argues why, he says, this is not a question that is to be discussed here. It's to be experienced. I'll take everything. Then he gets into the argument. Then Gargi stands up and says, what is this? How can you do this? And they have a long discussion with Gargi, who's the daughter of who's there sitting in that this one. So that is the sort of material wealth that we are talking about. Now, with this material wealth, how do you say that I don't need material wealth? So the paradox only is in the cursory glance. The thing is, you cannot give up something that you never have. Correct? This whole concept of you can forgive someone. When can you forgive someone? Only when you are in a position to forgive. When you are at a higher pedestal, when you can punish. Instead of punishing, you are saying, I'm forgiving. But if you're not in a state to punish, if that person is just beating you up, you're not even in a state to, it's only you're getting it. Okay. Now, there's a difference between giving up and then forgiving. Giving up is easy. Forgiving is very difficult. And that requires a lot of surrender. That is where ego needs to surrender. So, what is being stated here is that there are two steps. It's a two-step process. Get to a state of all the material wealth, then give that up. When you're in a position to give it up, they say, quit at your peak. That is what is Nivritti Lakshana. And this is what sustains the world the way we know it. This is the concept of sustenance. Okay. And I showed Maslow's hierarchy some time back. If people were just going to go on accumulating and accumulating and accumulating, let me see if I have that slide. Yeah, I have this slide. Stop sharing this. So this is what I showed. This is the Western paradigm that we have. This self-actualization. You need the self-esteem, money, and everything. And once you have this esteem and everything, this pyramid is, there's very little space on this pyramid at the top of it. Very few people can go and get there. And once you have money, that's about it. That's where it stops. Money and ego. Right? Money combined with ego. The ego combining with money. Full potential. Here, full potential will lead to your highest form of where you want to reach. That is, you could be a CEO of the company. You can become the highest form of the prime minister of a company, of the country, president of a company, whatever you want to define it as. Now, as we see, there is very little space here. Right? After this, what? It's a tipping point. Somebody will come, somebody will push you, just knock you over and push you down. Correct? Then again, you start all over from somewhere where you follow. This is called the Maslow's hierarchy of self-actualization, and in a very Western paradigm. Now, this is contrary to the paradigm that we have. The paradigm that we have also has these needs. It is not like we don't have the psychological needs, or we don't need, we're not giving up all those material wealth or psychological needs or emotional needs. The thing is, it's a cyclic process. There is no concept of somebody throwing us out. There is no fear of getting away. Okay, it says there will be, this is where it happens. Okay. So this is the societal cause, basic and psychological cause, and this self-actualization takes us to a very different level where we say, okay, I'll take my hands off from all the material wealth. Now, I'll take my hands off all the emotional needs. Now, probably if I can give something to the world, if I can give something, I'll give it in whatever forms and shapes I can. Okay. So this is the concept that we have in our paradigm. Okay.
I have a question, please.
Yes, Maud, tell me.
Yeah, so how, do you think only people who reach the pinnacle of success, only those people are eligible?
No. For in the Indian philosophical term?
Yes.
Okay. I'll explain that. See, if you look at this, okay, let me take that. See, if you look at this, there is what is called the basic need, psychological need, and self-fulfillment needs. Correct? The same three, instead of a pyramid, instead of a hierarchical order, if I place this in this format, right? And this is where our concept of punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, multiple births come in, right? Let's say you're in the basic and psychological needs will also require a lot of dwelling, money, comfort, fortune, etc. Right? Then you get to this self-esteem, then that good sleep, good this one. What is that? You need a lot of a welcoming morning, esteem, ego, all these things. Then comes this guidance on how to use the material wealth. This is where we get into this guru state. We seek for a guru. Okay, I've enjoyed, I've taken so much. What next? The question of what next starts. Okay. Then you get back to this one. Now here, what can happen is you can either drop out here and move to that state of moksha and get out of this whole cycle. Or if you're not satisfied, say, okay, I want to come back, start all over again. Welcome back. You have this whole state of going back to this punarapi jananam state. Okay. Shalini Mode, does this answer the question?
Yes, please. Could you just one last time sum it up again?
Okay, this one?
Yeah, the entire thing.
Okay.
I see that.
Okay. See, you have the basics and psychological needs. That is the requirement. The day you are born, you need to be emotionally attached to your mother. It's going to be very difficult if you don't have an emotional connect. Correct?
Right.
Somebody needs that. We start from there. You need a set of good relation, a constant set of progress. Today we call it in the form of marks and, how many medals that the kid has won and sort of, a comfortable place to sleep, a comfortable place, which is all created by the parents or the guardians. Right? Correct? So this will qualify the basic needs at that point. Once you have this, once you have got to that state, you come to a state of some level of ego, some level of, I need money, I need to earn money, I need to earn a lot of goodwill from people, so many things that come here, right? That is what they call the self-actualization state. Then once you have this, beyond that point, there is nothing here, if you look at it here, right? Then comes, in our scheme of things, you need a guidance on how to meaningfully use this material wealth. Good cooperating people. That's where the concept of sajjana and the guru comes very handy. So if you do, for instance, if you want to do any karya at home, our Vedic principle is we put you first and foremost, you bring somebody and put them in the acharya sthana. Correct? We have all seen this, whether it's a puja, homa, whatever you do. So that guidance has to be provided. How to meaningfully engage this wealth that I have earned. How to meaningfully use this emotional wealth that I have earned. Okay. That is one part. Once you are done with that, and once you say, okay, now it's enough of this for me, then the guidance moves to a state where you go back and donate to society and say, okay, now I give up. Or I wouldn't say I give up. I start distributing everything out. I withdraw myself from this emotional and this state of material attachment and move to the next stage. This can happen. Either you can say, okay, it can happen over a janma where you drop out at this stage and move out, where it's a real self-actualization. Or you say, okay, I'm not yet satisfied. I'll come back in the next one, go through this whole process again. You can move out at any point. By the way, you can move out at this point, you can move out at this point. So many people don't even qualify beyond this point. As simple as that. Right? So it can go on any state. Is this clear, Shalini Mahodaya? Any other questions?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Okay. Nagaprabha Mahodaya, Bhavati Vadatam. If Naga,
Hello. Hello. Mahodaya. This is like opening of the chakras, no? From Muladhara to creativity, Swadhisthana, Manipura. Till there, Western will come till the creativity.
See, that chakra is there. Yes, I agree. The thing with that is it's a technique. See, this is more of a conceptual state. Right? Now, how that concept is put into practice, it can be through the chakra meditation. That is either through the Kundalini meditation. That's what you're talking about, right? Or it could be through,
the people say when it is open, you are more creative. When the Manipura is open, you are more creative.
Yes, like yes. So that's what I'm saying.
When the heart is open, you are ready to give love or any charity or ready to give to the society. When your heart is open.
So that comes in this part, Mahodaya, guidance. So that, when does your Manipura open up? Okay, let me put that differently to you. When does the Manipura open up? When you are ready to give. Correct?
No, Manipura is for creativity. Feel more creative and acquiring.
Acquiring, creativity. It's a step-by-step process. And that is a guided force that is taking you. Right?
Yeah.
So that guidance and that force comes through a guru. Through somebody. Now, I'll give you the same I'll give the same analogy. The same Kundalini meditation can be applied even at this stage. Do you agree?
At that stage only, yeah.
It can be applied at this stage also.
Also, yeah.
Also, I'm not saying there is no specific stage where the Kundalini meditation is applied. It can equally well apply to all states, and it can move from one to the other seamlessly. Correct? And it's not just Kundalini meditation. It could be your Yoga Nidra, for instance, where you get into the Turiya state. Right? Each of them have their own ways. Now, there are other Siddhi practices. Now,
yeah, there are some siddhis where you can attract.
That's what I'm saying. So those are all, short circuit states of doing things. Short circuit.
There are some meditation where in the meditation you will visualize that your desires are already you got your desires are fulfilled already. Like
so, Mahodaya, all these are techniques. See, this is the concept. This is the basic concept.
Yeah.
Okay. The techniques can be multiple. It could be Yoga Nidra form. It could be a simple form of Vedantic meditation. It could be a form of Kundalini Yoga. It could be Siddhis. Right? So all these are different, and why are there so many? See, concept is the same. Techniques are multiple because each individual has a different swabhava. Correct? Somebody may want to just exit at this point. Somebody may want to exit at this point. Somebody may want to come back and do all over again. Depending on each one, each technique can be applied to to a different state and different condition. Right?
Yes, but I'm telling the Western what you call before this slide.
Maslow's hierarchy, yeah.
it only stops until the this Manipura. It won't go higher.
Mahodaya, no, let's not confuse things. It is not true. That is not very true because Manipura also has very different concepts. As I said, the whole Kundalini thing can be applied in all 4 states. So what is Manipura here will be very different from what is Manipura here. Okay. For instance, the same Manipura here will mean how you creatively engage and attract a lot more relationships. Okay. So I'll give a very simple example of your Manipura, this one itself. For instance, you'll see children who will very happily be with a lot of people around them. At the same time, you'll see children who will be very crying with a lot of, whenever they go to whenever they see a new face. Right? Knowingly or unknowingly, you can sort of say what their state of Manipura chakra is at that point. Similarly, if I come to this point and take the same concept of Manipura, creatively engaging in wealth to generate a lot more money. Is that right? That's what is happening?
Yeah.
Right. So that can happen here also.
Yeah.
Similarly, it can happen here also. See, what is Manipura? It is basically about your Vaishwanara Agni being very clearly burning and how it is being taken care of. Similarly, it can happen here also. The donational ability may be very different for a person whose Manipura is very strong here in this state. So as I said, this is the concept. How you apply it depends on the individual. And at each stage, each of the techniques can be applied.
Oh, what is pre-1820?
Huh?
What is that pre?
Okay. That is okay. That is a slide, this one, because I was teaching to some college students, so I brought that to pre-1820. This was our paradigm before the Macaulay education came up. This is the post one. This is the Maslow's hierarchy, which we are learning now. So I was contrasting that. I just pulled out the slide from there. So that's why it is like this.
Mahodaya, in previous shloka, in the last shloka, Pashyanapi na pashyati means what he wants to say.
Okay, okay, I'll go to that shloka. Pashyannapi Mudaha, that one, no?
Yes.
This one, right?
Yeah, Pashyanapi na pashyati means what he wants to say.
Seeing yet not seeing. Seen but not yet seen. See, this is external. You are seeing an external avatara. But that person is not realized. He may be he may be having a long hair and behaving like, looking like, he may be appearing like a sadhu, but he is not really a sadhu.
Yeah, okay. Not really realized.
Exactly. Yeah.
Thank you.
Parvati Mahodaya, you had some question.
But you answered it because my question was in that circle. Some people don't realize that.
Yeah.
Reach that point. You answered me, so I took out my. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
Then you
okay. So the sustenance is based on people earning a lot of money, earning and living well, and then transcending themselves beyond that material wealth. So nowhere in our Shastras is it saying give up your wealth and run away from it. You have to ride both the horses and get there at the right time. That's why our whole body and life is compared to the chariot. We'll bring the chariot. I'm sure those of you who have done Kathopanishad will know the chariot allegory. How many of you know that what is the significance of that Arjuna sitting on the chariot and Krishna giving the Upadesha? No? Anybody?
The senses, the five senses, horses are
Yes,
five
yes,
senses.
yes. Correct.
And yeah, I think that's it.
Okay.
The
I'll tell the full thing. I'll bring it sometime.
yeah, chariot is the mind, I think, and it's ruled by five horses. And then
What is
yeah,
the
so
mind? What is the mind again?
the mind is the chariot, and the horses are the five senses. And Arjuna is every human being, and Krishna is in the intellect.
Okay. Let me change that a little.
Yeah, sure.
The chariot is the sharira. That is the physical body.
Oh, okay.
Okay. The 10 horses, it's not 5, it's 10 horses. Pancha karmendriya, pancha gnanendriya.
Oh, okay.
Okay. The reins, that is the what is tied to the horse and who are held by Krishna, is the mind. Okay. Now there is an ahankara concept or the jivatma concept, which is Arjuna, the owner of that whole thing, guiding. The Sarathi is the Paramatma, Krishna. So I'll bring that in a different format. I'll bring it in another class. So that is the whole idea. Buddhi. Buddhi, Ahankara, Buddhi, Ahankara is the Arjuna, and Krishna is the Paramatma sitting there, Atma sitting there, which is guiding this and navigating the whole thing. So that is the imagery, that is the iconography for that whole chariot thing. Okay, we'll bring it somewhere. But yeah, this is what Acharya Shankara says, Praninam sakshat abhyudayah nishreyasah hetuh yah sa dharmah brahmanadhyaihi varnibhihi ashtamibhihi cha shreyah arthibhihi anushtiyamanah dirghena kalena. This is eternally being for a long, long, long period. As long as this world exists, the manifested state of this world exists, this will be followed by everyone. Who all? Brahmanadhyaihi, all the Brahmanas, Varnivihi, other Varnas, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, everyone. Ashtamibihi. Ashrami is very clear. Varnashrama, if you look at the ashrama, whether it is brahmacharya or grihastha or vanaprastha or sannyasa, both abhyudaya and nishreyas will be followed. There is no way that the sannyasa can say, I live without anything, I live without the world. Until the point that sannyasi is in the body, the world will be with him. He may not take whatever is needed, but there is a transaction happening. Okay. Anushtiyamanah. All those who are practicing these things, okay, for a long period, this will exist. So this is what Acharya Shankara has been saying, has always been propagating. And this comes very much in the Bhagavad Gita Bhashya. First, this is the very first line in the Bhagavad Gita Bhashya where he starts off. Okay, preamble. Okay. Yeah, I think we discussed this as well. Punarjayamana purani samanam varnam abhishumbhamana shvagniva kratnarvijami nana martasya devi jarayantyayo. So, it is like Usha Devi, we are worshipping Usha Devi. And how are we worshipping it? See, that's why our concept of death is not something to be afraid of or to run away from, nothing. We say, we are worshipping the Usha Devi, just like we know we are worshipping her and look forward to her coming, in spite of the fact that we know she's cutting away one day of our life. Just like, and what is she doing? She's plucking out one feather from one feather of the bird. Can a bird fly without its feathers? Wings are there, but no feathers, nothing. It cannot fly anymore, right? So the Usha Devi is just taking away one feather at a time, day by day. Yet we welcome you because we look forward to you. So that's why our concept of death is never to be afraid of, fearful of. Okay. Our life, that's why our lifetime is all about preparing ourselves for that last instant. How samadhana we are at that point in time is what matters. And Krishna says, if you remember me at that time, you reach me. How do you remember me at that time? It is not a stroke of the midnight hour, it doesn't happen, no? So that is the question. Okay. So samadhana, we saw this, I think we saw this also, no? What is samadhana? Nigrihitasya manasaha shravana adau tad anuguna vishaye cha samadhihi samadhanam. Manas should be very much in control. Nigrihitasya manasaha. Shravanadav means all the sense organs. Shravana. So we have Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, no? So what we see, what we hear, what we taste, what we feel, and what we smell. All this should be in the control. Tad anuguna vishaye, whatever externally everything is coming. Still I can withdraw like a tortoise. Kurmangiva. So just like a tortoise withdrawing itself into the shell, if I can withdraw all of these senses into my manas and the manas is in full control, that is samadhi, that is samadhana. Okay. Sarvada sthapanam buddhehe shuddhe brahmani sarvatha. Always being in that brahmani, in that brahman, established, well established in saying, okay, there is nothing that is going to change there is nothing that I am going to be out of this equanimity. Tat samadhanam iti uktam natu chittasya lalanam. What is lalanam? What is lalanam?
Nurturing.
Huh?
Nurture.
Nurture is one part. How does this nurture come? It's basically some changes. So I gave this example of a monkey scratching its wound last week. So last time. So all of us have had some wound at some point in our childhood or now at some point. No, we've all had that wound. When it dries up, it starts itching. Correct? Does it start itching? How many times have we tried to scratch it? And how much of control have we had to have to not scratch it?
To scratch what, Mahoday? I didn't get that.
Let's say all of us have had some wound, no, some form of a wound. We have fallen.
Wound, okay, wound. Right. Yeah.
When it heals up, by the time it heals up, by the time that it dries up and it comes up, it starts itching because the skin is contracting and skin is trying to heal itself. It starts itching. If we itch at that time, there's a lot of pleasure in that itch, but it'll start. Your blood will start oozing out. Right now, how many of us can control that itch? That lalanam is that mind will want to itch, maybe a little bit. I'll take out this one small part which is lying there. So that itching. Yes, Nagaprabhu.
There is one kind of meditation. In meditation, they say just to observe, not to react, not to do anything. Just observe what is happening. If there is any itch, just observe it. Then just you will forget it.
Correct. That's exactly what is withdrawing. That's exactly what is all about, withdrawing your senses with it.
Like Vipassana meditation, they usually say that.
Lots of that's what I said. There are lots of techniques to do that. Now, I'm just explaining the concept of samadhana. What you are telling is how to get to that samadhana. There's a technique of getting to that samadhana. So samadhana is about having that itch and making sure that I'm not itching at all. So one of the ways of doing that is saying, okay, I'm just observing. I become an external observer. Correct. So that is the concept of this whole samadhana. Okay, we saw this until this point we had seen last week itself, and I will just I also said, it is like apuryamanam achalam pratishtam samudramapah pravishanti yadvat tatvat kama yam pravishanti sarve sa shanti mapnoti kama kami. As all the waters of so many rivers enter into the sea, yet the sea level does not rise up. It is not like, so much of water is pouring into me, so tomorrow one city is gone. That doesn't happen. Tsunamis happen for a different reason. I'm not talking of tsunami. I'm talking of general water, the rivers emptying their waters into the seas and oceans. Nothing happens to the sea. The sea will remain as is. Similarly, so much of karma, so much of desires, as I said, the experience of that itch, there is so much of itching that is going on within us. I need this, I need that, I need that. Yet you are in the state of a shanti. All that is coming, yet you will say, all right, let it come. I am happy with it. I'm at peace with it. That is the state of kama akami. That is what samadhana will be. Okay. So anybody who is experiencing it and be very happy with it, not getting disturbed. Now, how to get to this samadhana? That's what Nagaprabha Mahodaya started.
This pravrutti marga and nivrutti marga you said. In that, if you believe in there is punarjanma,
so there
you
is
will
no,
be,
see,
you will be like, if there is, if I am getting so much of desires, so if I can't fulfill in this life, like I will get to be fulfilled in the next life in some way, like that. In Nivrutti Marga, same thing applies. I want to end up, I want to give up everything. In this life itself, I want to achieve whatever liberation.
So Nagaprabha Mahodaya, let me very clearly, categorically clarify this. Punarjanma is not a choice. For us, it is an axiom. If there is no concept of believing in Punarjanma or not believing in Punarjanma for us. From our point of view, Punarjanma is a given. That Janma Marana, Punarapi Jananam is a given. We believe that is the basic fundamental building block of our Sanatana Dharma or Hinduism as we know it. Okay. Two things. One is karma, which leads to this Punarjanma. Okay. Multiple Janma. This is the fundamental building block for all the dharma. Okay. Our idea is to transcend this and say that I am not going to be in that state of Punarjanma. Okay. How do you give up? Can you give up? Who needs to give up? How can it be done? Is all very detailedly described. Okay. So, karmana chitta shuddhi. With karma, you get chitta shuddhi. So that is a necessary condition. But that is not a sufficient condition. In mathematics, you have this necessary and sufficient condition. There is a necessary condition that chitta shuddhi happens. Once chitta shuddhi happens, then comes the concept of bhakti and gnana, which takes you to that state of vairagya. Okay. Now, techniques are many.
But through gnana, chitta shuddhi.
No, chitta shuddhi. Okay. If you are in that state, it will happen. Okay. There's an example. I'll give that example. For instance, say Karna. There are only, if you read the whole of Mahabharata, only 2 people got mukti. Everybody else were wandering here and there, including the Pandavas. Nobody got mukti in Mahabharata. Right? One was Bhishma, the other one was Karna. Okay. Bhishma was already a Gnani, Paramagnani. He did not need any other external help. He was the manifestation of the ego of the Paramatman himself. Karna was not. Karna always believed life had been cruel to him. He had faced a lot of difficulties and hardship, which was true. Of course, it need not be glorified the way TV serials have done. That's a different story. We'll not get into that part. He sided with Adharma. He was in all sorts of things. Still, he believed in Krishna. There was bhakti in Karna. Strong bhakti in Krishna. Karna had a strong bhakti. Finally, when all that, there's a long conversation that happens. How can this adharma happen? His Shalya, his charioteer runs away. Then his wheel gets stuck and he comes out. So many things happen. At that point, there's a lot of debate that happens. Lot of debate. Karna asks, how can you do this? This is anyaya, this is adharma. He gives a lot of things to Krishna. Krishna very patiently says, what you have done is adharma. To kill an adharma, if I am using one small adharma, that is not. Just keep quiet. He gives him a law. He gives it back. He very strongly gives it back. Then, out of infinite compassion towards Karna, he himself goes when he's on his death, about to die. Karna was a dani. He would give, if anything asked for, he would give. He never refused any dana. Right? So he goes, Krishna says, you have been such a good dani. Now give up all the desires that you have. Give me all the desires that you have. Karna says, Karna has never refused anyone. He says, this is my test, I'll give it. That's how Karna got moksha. Okay. It is not like, there is a concept of in this limit. Yeah, go on.
What Krishna asked, you give me desire, so he gave up all the desires.
That is dana. That is dana by seeking.
Giving out.
Yeah.
Yeah. He
gave
up all the desires.
He is not holding any more desires inside. Correct.
Yeah.
See, giving up desires is very different from. See, there is a concept I think in Christianity, there is a concept which says you go and write off everything that you have to the Christ. Now, that is not giving up desires there. That is about giving up, okay, I have done so many bad, I have done so many things, you just forgive and leave it there. So that concept is to the heaven. So there, the concept ends at the heaven state. It does not go beyond the heaven state. For us, heaven is just a, holiday timeshare resort. You go there and come back. Whether it's a heaven or hell is a holiday timeshare. There are 7 lokas up and 7 lokas below and all that. So you go to that holiday timeshare and come back if you want. So that is how our Purajnama happens. Whenever you move out of this body, you go to one of those so many lokas that are prevalent, stay there for whatever karma you have done, finish off that, come back. That's our concept. That's the fundamental concept on which this whole philosophy is based. Okay. And that is non-negotiable. Right. So as you said, the desire will manifest in the next birth. And as it keeps going, as vasanas, it is taken over as vasanas, there are so many things that keep happening. Okay, I think it's already 8:30, so we'll stop here. Next week, we'll see the steps that we need to take to, conceptually, what are the steps that we need to take to move to that Samadhana state. Okay, we'll bring in a few more Bhaja Govindam Shlokas and see what needs to transcend. What is it that we need to transcend? There's a step-by-step process. Bhakti, then Jnana, and things like that. So we'll get there. Okay, that's it. I'll do the Mangala, and then if you have any questions, we can just take it for a few. Om Swastik Prajabhyah Paripalayantam Nyayena Margena Mahishah Go Brahmanebhyo Shurmastu Nityam Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavanto Kale Varshita Parjanyah Prithvi Sasishalini Deshoyam Shobarahitaha Brahmana Santu Nirbhayah Aputra Putrinas Santu Pautrinah Adhanat Sadanat Santu Jivantu Sharadam Shatam Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Kashchid Dukkha Bhaveet Harihi Om.